Good afternoon and welcome to Lariat TV News Today. I'm Melanie Pace.
And I'm Jenna Welch. Thanks for joining us. Figuring out where you're going to live next year can be stressful, and sometimes students end up having to pay for 2 leases at the same time. LTVN's Savannah Cooper tells us more about how you can make a smart decision about where to live.
Students will actually get into exactly what you say. They will sign an off-campus contract, and sometimes they will also have an on-campus contract as well, using one or the other as a backup.
Baylor requires all freshmen to live on campus, but after that, students have the opportunity to stay or go and venture out of the bubble. Living off campus is a great step towards adulthood that teaches valuable real-world lessons. One lesson in particular has been tough to learn for too many students.
And that does put them in a tricky situation. While I can't speak for the off-campus housing, whenever you sign a contract for on-campus housing, you've signed a contract, like it's legally binding, so you're here for the next school year.
Many have fallen victim to this, and the Office of Campus Living and Learning aims to listen and work with students to find a solution.
So we talk to students, we try to figure out what works out best for them, we hear their side of the story, but overall, essentially that does put them between a rock and a hard place. So we really do encourage students to figure out where they're going to be and only sign one contract.
Reporting for Lariat TV News, I'm Savannah Cooper.
Holiday travelers, beware. Marriott Hotels says 500 million of its customers may have had personal information stolen in a breach of the Starwood Properties reservation system. The internet hack may have started as early as 2014, but Marriott confirmed what information was breached 2 weeks ago. More than 300 million people had their names, addresses, email addresses, and passport numbers compromised. Almost 200 million others may have also had their credit card accounts exposed. Westin, Sheraton, and W Hotels are part of the Starwood Group. Marriott has created a website to answer customers' questions about the security breach.
In response to staggering sex trafficking statistics within the Waco community, locals created the organization She Is Freedom. Rose Brugger, the assistant director of She Is Freedom, described the future shelter as a drop-in center for girls who are survivors of and at risk of sex trafficking. The shelter is projected to open in January of 2019, but is still in need of significant renovations. If you want to assist the shelter, a volunteer day is being hosted Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Volunteers are needed to paint, clean, and help with installations for toilets and floors. People interested in volunteering can email rose@sheisfreedom.org.
A reported kidnapping at Miss Nellie's Pretty Place in Cameron Park on Monday turned out to be a misunderstanding between family members, according to Waco police. The police received a report that a woman was seen putting children into the trunk of her car. The children were later found unharmed in Bell County. While the Waco Police Department and the Bell County Sheriff's Office are releasing no additional details at this time, an investigation is still being conducted. Updates will be available online when they are released.
Reserving a team room for finals might seem complicated, but LTVN's Julia Lorenz has all the steps you need to get that perfect study spot.
As finals approach here at Baylor, buildings and libraries are being occupied with studying students. But before you head to Foster and try to study, there are a few things you need to know, and we have the details. The business building is open to all students to study in. However, the unique part about the building is that there are special team rooms available to check out.
They can either come up to the room, swipe the card reader and check it out and check out the room right there via the iPad, or they can go to idcard.baylor.edu.
Business students or any student enrolled in the business class can check out team rooms just like this one by reserving them online with their Baylor ID. They're available from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. and they can be reserved from 15 minutes up to 2 hours.
They're very helpful for displaying group presentations so that we can all look at it, and it's really easy. You just attach the HDMI cord to your laptop and then it will be on the TV for everyone to see.
Team rooms have a 32-inch monitor, a big desk ideal for group projects, 6 chairs, and 6 HDMI cables easy for presentation display onto the monitor. A good resource in Foster is the Technology Lab. There they have markers and various cords available to rent. If you ever see a problem with iPad or ever have trouble getting into a team room, the Technology Commons Lab is the place to be.
You're not supposed to have food and beverages in the team room. We ask students to make sure they leave the room with a clean whiteboard, take out any trash, and just be respectful of the space.
I asked a few business students about their thoughts on the team rooms and some of their insightful tips.
When finals are around, I definitely try to book in advance, and that usually works out, because if I don't, then the rooms are without a doubt going to be taken.
I booked probably like a month ago. Booking early is definitely an important thing.
Baylor's academic support programs provide finals preparation resources to students. They are hosting walk-in study workshops from 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Thursday in the ASP Learning Lab in Sid Richardson. Sally Furman, director of ASP, said the workshops will teach students to map out and organize their finals week. As for studying tips, Furman said to remember to study in 45 to 50-minute chunks and to periodically switch subjects. In addition to the workshop, students can request a group strategy session with an ASP member online.
You may be ready for Christmas break, but don't hurry home just yet.
I found out a few important steps you should take to prevent burglaries while you are out of town. Before you leave home for the holidays, make sure your house in Waco is secure and fireproof.
Criminal element is they're looking for signs of no occupancy. Stop your newspaper delivery if you have that. And I think you can buy like a timer at any kind of hardware store where you can plug in 2 or 3 devices and you could turn your TV on, you could turn some lights on.
Steve Eskew, Baylor's fire safety specialist, says to make sure to take down some of your Christmas decorations before you go.
If you have a real Christmas tree, I would suggest you de-decorate it and go ahead and dispose of it before you leave, because it is a fire hazard.
For more information, visit Baylor's Department of Public Safety website. For Lariat TV News, I'm Melanie Pace.
It's not just a school to me, it's home.
Everyone's there to help you and to see you succeed.
Challenging.
You're
Like, I'm here, I can do this.
Friends.
Friendship.
Relationships.
There's people that know you and people that are there for you around every corner.
It's a shared experience. Rigorous.
Growth.
Transformative. Tradition.
Faith.
I've loved every second of it. It's family.
It's home.
It's Baylor.
Christmas is coming soon, and Baylor has already started celebrating.
We've got all the festive details coming up right after this.
The Baylor community began its Christmas celebrations with the 53rd annual Christmas on 5th, Thursday night. LTVN's Julia Lorenz tells us more about one of Baylor's favorite traditions.
All was calm and all was bright at Baylor until the 53rd annual Christmas on 5th KOT tree lighting started.
I'm so happy. This is the epitome of Christmas, the epitome of Baylor.
It's like such a celebration for certainly not just KOT, but for really all of Baylor and all the Waco community.
Despite all the Baylor traditions, Christmas on 5th holds a special place in the community's heart. The night was filled with festive activities, from meeting Santa to riding horses, going on carriages, a live nativity scene, and even bouncy houses. Decorations were everywhere, and the joy was contagious as the community enjoyed the holidays.
I've been here for 4 years as a senior, so I've been to Christmas on 5th 4 different times, and my favorite part is always getting hot chocolate and going to take pictures with Santa inside the sub.
I think that there's so many great traditions at Baylor, but this is definitely one of my favorites because it's just such a cool opportunity that we get to do, like coming together and, just being with your friends and your chosen family here at Baylor. I absolutely love there's a little red sleigh, and you have to hunt for it every year, but I get a picture with my guy friends. We have a whole little group.
Despite the not-so-light Christmas weather, the Baylor community is getting excited here at the Burleson Quad awaiting the Christmas tree lighting.
This is actually the 53rd annual Christmas tree lighting ceremony, and so that's something that we've gotten to do as a part of Baylor's Christmas on 5th. This year we partnered with a local organization called Unbound, which fights against human trafficking. So we're able to raise $15,000 for Unbound.
Christmas on 5th wasn't just a time for the Baylor community to get in the holiday spirit, it was also a time to come together and help the local community. For Lariat TV News, I'm Julia Lorenz.
The Mayborn Museum Complex hosted its annual Christmas at the Mayborn on Thursday. The event is a celebration of science and the holidays. Children were invited to test multiple science stations, and older students and adults could participate in a cookie decorating workshop. Also in attendance were Baylor mascot Marigold and 2 different choirs. This is the third year for the event, and Anna McKay, the museum's engagement manager, said they expected around 1,000 visitors.
Baylor students got into the Christmas spirit during a gift wrapping session for local children. LTVN's Kennedy Dendy found out more about the reason behind Santa's Workshop event.
Christmas is right around the corner, and for over 300 kids in the greater Waco area, they are in for a very special treat.
It's really important to us to involve not only the community of Waco, but also this specific age group, because it's really important for them to be able to see a college campus from a young age. It kind of inspires education, kind of lets them start thinking about what kind of higher education they'll be interested in. So it's really important for us to reach this demographic, and also they're just really fun to work with.
It's been a while since I've gotten to wrap presents. Most of the time you just kind of throw it in the bag, so wrapping presents and then remembering what it feels like to open the presents is kind of, really special too.
Baylor's Office of Community Engagement and Service hosted their annual wrapping party for the children who will be attending the Santa's Workshop event. Student volunteers from many different organizations took the time out of their Wednesday night in hope of putting a smile on the children's faces during this season.
I just wanted to, wrap presents because it's so fun to do, and I also want to give to the Baylor community.
Being able to give our time so that someone else could have a special Christmas is pretty awesome.
It's really awesome because the Baylor community is just so giving. There's always an abundance of volunteers. We wanted about 20, and here we have 50. That's just a perfect example of how Baylor students are always just so ready to get involved and help us out.
The Santa's Workshop event will be taking place at 9 a.m. on Friday, November 30th in Baylor Student Life Center. For Lariat TV News, I'm Kennedy Dendy.
While most Baylor students know about the popular Christmas on 5th traditions, many do not know that they can also ring in the Christmas season of Advent by attending 2 services on campus. 2 40-minute Advent services were held on Thursday night in Armstrong Browning Library. There was a 17-piece choir leading the service, preparing hearts in anticipation for the celebration of the birth of Christ. Protestants, Catholics, and Orthodox Christians were invited to attend.
We've all heard the classic Christmas story of how the Grinch stole Christmas, and students from one honor society on campus hosted a come-and-go reading of the book on Tuesday afternoon. The event gave students a relaxing and festive break from studies as Sigma Tau Delta performed the dramatic reading of the book in the Carroll Science Building. Sigma Tau Delta is Baylor's chapter of the International English Honor Society, and Lexi Rima, vice president of the chapter, said the meaning behind the event is to have fun and to gather during the holidays.
36 children returned home with their families after finalizing their adoptions at the Baylor Law School's 11th annual Adoption Day. LTVN's Caroline Waterhouse visited the Winter Wonderland dedicated to making these local families whole.
7th Annual National Adoption Day hosted by Baylor Law School on November 16th. Baylor Law Professor Bridget Fuselier started the program 10 years ago while taking on pro bono cases and working with Adoption Day as an attorney.
The end of the journey basically for the family. They are legally going to get recognized as a family today.
510,000 children in the United States are in the foster system, and about 26,000 of them will age out of the system without finding a family. The event at the law school has a fun theme to it every year, and this year it was fittingly I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Sing the kids, because they didn't ask for the lives that they were originally given, and people have brought them into their homes and loved them, and today is just kind of a day that they can have fun and be kids and be happy, and the looks on their faces is just something that we always remember.
The program, which was filled with food, games, and a live band, was a happy occasion for not only the families, but also some of the over 500 law students who have volunteered within the past 10 years.
I really want this to continue on as something that they can see how as a lawyer you can give back to your community in a variety of ways. We're not even doing legal work here, but we're still doing something that touches our community. So I'd like it to continue, keep having fun themes, and just make it as grand as we can for the kids that day.
With Lariat TV News, this is Caroline Waterhouse.
What a turnaround. After a rough season last year, Matt Rule's Bears are all set to go bowling.
We'll tell you more right after the break.
Baylor is bowl bound for the first time in 2 seasons, and now the question is, where will they play? LTVN's Noah Torr has us more.
Baylor is going bowling. Amongst a massive rebuild of the football program in the aftermath of a Big 12 investigation, Baylor defied the odds and became bowl eligible. After a disappointing 1-11 debut campaign for head coach Matt Rule, he came under scrutiny and many doubted his vision for the team. Now a year later, Rule is 6-6 and headed to the collegiate postseason. Was this validation for Rule as a coach? Athletic director Mac Rhodes says Rule didn't need any validation.
Not a validation for Matt Rule, but a validation in terms of the process.
Rhodes said he trusted Rule from the beginning and that he brought him in because he knew he could handle all of the outside noise.
It needed somebody that could withstand that and look at it, you know, in its eyes and say, hey, you know what, we're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to get past this.
Rule said after the game against Texas Tech that this season has been a journey and that he's grateful for everything that's happened.
All the things that happen to you for a reason, and they prepare you for the next opportunity. And so all the things that have happened to us throughout the course of the year prepared us for this opportunity today.
Besides some speculation, it's unknown where Baylor may land for their bowl, and the announcement will be made on Sunday, but Rhodes wants to make sure he has all his bases covered.
Cheez-Its and Diet Dr. Pepper, there's nothing better.
With Lariat TV News, I'm Noah Torr.
The Lady Bears basketball team has some tough competition this weekend as they face the South Carolina Gamecocks. Baylor beat the Georgetown Hoyas 67-46 in their last game. Juicy Landrum and Nalissa Smith both scored 14 points and are looking to have big games this weekend. The Gamecocks are sitting at 4-3 on the season after making it to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament last season. South Carolina leads the nation in attendance, and Baylor will have to overcome the home court advantage. This game is televised nationally Sunday at 6 p.m. on ESPN2. Men's basketball has a newcomer step up on the floor for the first time this season in their win against South Dakota University. LTVN's Noah Torr has the story.
Another close game, another Baylor win. In the past 3 games, the margin of victory for the Bears hasn't exceeded 8 points, and 2 of those 3 have ended in wins, including the game against South Dakota. South Dakota was able to keep the pace slow and keep the game within reach, but in the end, Makai Mason had a clutch layup and hit a 3 to put Baylor over the top. Baylor Nation had their first look at Mario Kegler, who had 12 points in his debut. The Bears won the game 63-57 despite missing their first 20 of 24 shot attempts. Head coach Scott Drew said he's happy with the win, even though there are still uncertainties about the team.
If you win by 20, it's fool's gold, because when you get into these Big 12 games and then the Power 5 games, they're close games, so you have to have experience in those close games.
Catch Baylor in their next game against Wichita State this Saturday in Kansas at 7. With Lariat TV News, I'm Noah Torr.
The number 25 ranked Lady Bears is going dancing again by earning a program record 3rd consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. The Bears opened their playoff season traveling to Eugene, Oregon, where they defeated the Hawaii Warriors 3-2 in a thrilling victory Thursday night. In all-time NCAA play, Baylor is 5-6. Last year, the Bears fell to the University of Colorado 3-0 in the second round at the Farrell Center. This year's squad is looking to make a dent in the tournament to continue their memorable season. The Bears will stay in Eugene to play in the second round on Friday. Breakout tennis duo Shvin Law and Jimmy Bendick continue to ace in the ITA regional tournament as they head to the doubles round of Sweet 16. The Bears shut out SMU 4-0, continue to be Baylor's only doubles team in the championship. On the singles side, senior Will Little and Law continue to make it to round of 16. The Lady Bears are being represented in the tournament by sophomore Livia Cross in the singles bracket. If they advance, the quarterfinals are set for Sunday. And that's your sports update for this Friday.
Thanks for watching Lariat TV News today.
We'll see you next semester. Have a very Merry Christmas.